Or you guys look, the sun is shining through my window. Look how beautiful that is. I am looking like a little angel. Good morning. Good morning. And how are you? As we wake up, we're about to do some cleaning. Gotta get it done. Gotta get it done. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotta get it done. Good morning, family. This is Resilient Queen right here. I got my queen chain on. So it was a chain by itself, and I added it onto here. So now the queen is back here. So the queen is on here. So how is everybody doing this morning? Happy Friday! They say Happy Friday. You gotta say Happy Friday. Say Happy Friday. It is Friday, and it's Happy Friday. It is Friday, and it is Happy Friday. You know, I used to watch the reel and they say, Happy Friday! So it's Friday, guys, and I'm in my cute little, lovely little dress there. So it is Friday. Amir, did you finish? He go to school next week and I can say, thank you, Lord. I love them. They love exercise. They be, Amir! Amir! Let me see. So it's cleaning day today, family. It's cleaning day. You finished? Oh, I thought you were finished. It's cleaning day today, family. Place is a wreck. You know, just to see how kids can tear the place up quick and fast. They really can. They take the bike. Where they get my hammer? They got my hammer. These kids, I'm telling you. No matter what you tell them not to do, they do the opposite. So good morning, family. It is Friday. What? They carried the food up in here yesterday. These kids are something else. They just want you to tell them no. And they say, all right, there's another way around. Let mommy not looking. If mommy not looking, we get to mommy. Oh, man. Even their playroom, I gotta clean that up. Good thing you don't have a lot of mess, but they gonna clean it up. Or make sure they do. You finish? You okay now? Okay. Oh man. Good morning, family. How you guys do? So we have a whole house full of hot mess. Hot mess, you know. I guess cleaning house is just a job we have to accept. That these kids don't care. So good morning, sweetie Juicy. How are you? How are you? Good morning. Any exercise today? Good morning. So I gotta clean my hot mess up this morning here. Telling you. So I rise up, make some breakfast already. I just had some orange, just say. They say all is well. Yes, exercise soon. Oh, okay. Good. Alright. Quiz. You got a quiz? We can do the quiz after. Which one is that? Adventure Kingdom. You know what to do? No. You just gotta read it. Okay. So the big one get up and he's doing his reading. Yeah. He's doing his work, but then play quick. Okay, click on it. Quick. So I just get up and eat me some orange. They say what happened when Caroline pressed the lunch button? The hypnotized workers attack Caroline. Hypnotized workers go to sleep. The hypnotized workers drink a snake oil smoothie. Which one? They drink a snake oil smoothie. Okay, click on it. You don't know. Oh, there should be. Oh, I was thinking to go to the bottom one. Huh? All right, let's go. Who comes to the factory after Hurling and Curling send the workers on a lunch break? The Iron King, Clark, Luna, Eddie, and Professor. Nobody. Hog swallowed. Which one? You know that one? Yeah, he hog swallowed. Oh, first let me see. Okay. You gotta go back and read that story because you weren't paying attention, but you were there for quiz. Mama, quiz, and he failed. He failed. You say I'm about to do some editing right quick. I saw you live and most definitely wanted to stop by. Thank you so much, sweetie Juicy. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. You have a wonderful day today, okay? Thank you. You gotta read the story over. What? Yeah, that's why you tell you when kids read, they gotta Good. Let's go. Yeah, I homeschool one of them, only one. The little one still go to school, but the big one homeschool. The only thing is a lot of work. You got work. He getting break next week. He's not on break this week, but next week, but he still got a lot of work. My teacher give me an award. Which one? Your teacher give you an award. Which award? Homeschool is just a lot of work. Which award do you Let's want? Level up your badge by reading more mystery books. So which one? Take the 5, 10. Take the 10. Okay. Your teacher give that to you? Yes. Oh, they send you that link? Yep. I think if you click here, you'll get it. Oh, they send you in your mail. Okay. I think so. That's your virtual mail right there. Okay, one day I went in there and guess what I saw? Mm-hmm. They gave me one of them, and guess what? That was a Venture Kingdom book, Cannon Chapel, and totally super cool. That was so cool. Because they know what you like, that's why. That's why they read with you and then they find out what book you like and so, and then we refer those books as well. Well, I'm going to get something to eat and drink and eat and drink. What do you mean eat and drink? What else you want to eat and drink? You guys going to get big as the house. Like try to help. Oh, please. Wait, Mom, yes, I'm sweetie Juicy. Yes, you say my sister homeschool her 4 grandkids. It's a lot of work. It's her full-time life. Yes, it's a lot of work. The only thing is, as a mother who trying to do YouTube, trying to run the errands in the day, that is a must for me. Like on Tuesdays and Thursdays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays, I know it's a must. I have to run some errands to go on the road, take care of some things. It's a must. It's not like I can slip up, You can slip up, but you have to make sure and everything. And it's become a challenge. Doing balancing this, balancing that, then cooking, dropping this one to school, going to this meeting, doing this. It's a challenge, but the only good part of it that I like is the fact that when he was going to regular school, and I asked him, what do you learn at school? I don't know. I learned some maths or something, but he will tell you about all his friends and everything. Yes. Thank you, sweetie Juicy. Blessings to you. Thank you so much. Thank you. So he will tell me all these things, but that's not what I wanted to hear. I wanted to hear, what have you done at school? Where do you have any strength? Do you have any weakness? What kind of work did teacher give you that you didn't do so good in? So I can, if I know or I understand, I can help you with it. Because as parents, when we ask our children questions, we're not asking them questions because we want to be nosy. We're asking them questions just in case if there is anything that teacher taught them in school and they didn't understand it. What can I do to go over it in using a different approach? Because even, for example, maths. When he just started learning maths with his school, he was good until it started getting a little bit difficult at their age. And then I had to find different ways to pull things out for him. I said, God, listen, God, your 10 fingers, use them. Your 10 toes. I said, you have blocks, you have fudge sticks, you have your pencil, you have piece of paper. You could draw circles, you could draw sticks, you could do so many things. And so forth. And then afterward, now he get an eye opener of maths. And then when they start teaching him 2-digit numbers, three-digit numbers, I start to let him know numbers on the numbers and the plus sign go to this direction. Because one of the things when we're teaching children too, we gotta, because sometimes he do want to write backwards and I have to make me wonder, is he dyslexic? You know, so I be when he writing numbers, sometimes he get a little confused or overwhelmed with it. So I have to find different ways, you know. He said, "That's good, resilient. You are doing great. God bless you. That's good. You are able to homeschool. I love that." Well, it's a challenge, baby girl, because you don't know the sacrifice I had to put up here. It's a terrible sacrifice, you know. You don't know the sacrifice. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, it's a big one. But at the why I really take him out of school, he before his graduation for his grade one, he gets suspended twice. A couple days before his graduation, yes, yes, because I had put him in a school, and I like the school. But then for the whole year, the only time I didn't get any complaint about him was the first week of orientation. For the whole year, when he was at the other school before, when he was at daycare centers and doing okay, he didn't get no complaint about them. Just say he likes to talk or whatever. Going to the other school now, the teacher used to tell me that sometimes she trying to teach a class and Jaden wanna be the teacher. He had to say, "I'm the teacher," or so forth. And then he starts spiral down. He not listening. He's not this. At one point, I went to the school and I remember I said I'm gonna have to take him out of school because now they say he punched somebody in their groin. Now they say he touching people inappropriately. I don't got none of those things at my house for him to see inappropriately. So I'm saying, where is that learning ability coming from that is unexpected? Not in my house. Because you know, a lot of things when children in school, people like to put the finger right back at home. Doesn't mean they have to learn things at home. You see what I'm saying? But they finger like to direct back at home. Like the home is the only part that can teach them, hey, dark tunnel, black tunnel, run here, run here. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. So he get expelled a week before his graduation. Then when he sent him back the week before his graduation, they said he could come back. I took him back to school. They said he get trouble again. And at first, I come up with the strategies to say, if he give any act up at school or anything, just call me. And I would just come and pick him up for the day. And I used to do that just fine. Now they start to say he knocked somebody over. And then when I ask him, this is the problem. And that's why as parents we have to pay attention to in our children. It's if our children don't express themselves and all these things, you gotta pay attention because people can pin anything on them and they gonna accept it because they don't know. They think that okay, because that somebody say, oh, but you were the apple, they probably say, yeah, not realizing that they don't understand what is at stake for them. You know what I mean? So he was a quiet little boy. He wasn't the person who talk like tell you what's going on or so. So I says, Jaden, why is that little boy private part was in your way so that they said, oh, they think you're touching people inappropriately? Those are a reason for you to extract your kids out of school. You hear me? Because that go against their file, like they are pedophile. So if they grow up, for example, and parents, I need you to listen keenly. If something happens to them when they grow older, and everything that written up that they get, that suspended letter that they get, is in their file. So don't believe that okay, everything is cool and done. That is in their file, and if something happens, God forbid they do something dumb when they grow old or anything, it will be pulled up against them. Oh, when this child was going to the school, he had suspended twice. Or when this child was going, so don't be comfortable when you see your child get suspended from school for certain things. Pull them out of school if you can. Before you pull them, make sure you go and research a homeschool for them. Don't just pull them out of school to sit home for a week. You don't do that. When you mean pull them out of school, you're pulling them to transfer them. You understand? Or even if you're not putting them in homeschool, but you want to transfer them for another school, you have to let they stay there for now. You keep talking to them. And it was stressful for me, you know. And then they said he punched somebody in the groin. But then when he was told to me directly, they said he was touching people inappropriately. And I'm like, what is people front doing in my son's face? He should be at school. And then at one point, the teacher said to me, I know it wasn't the other person because that child is so quiet. He do his work, he do this, and I used to ask them too. And this is the other thing you pay attention to, parents. I asked them. I said, "How is his academic at school?" They said, "Good." When that boy just go to school, he made honor roll. He made a principal list so they could take him to function and everything. Because he went there knowledgeable, right? All that knowledge went away. And I'm like, when a child come from another school to go to another school and he have that vast amount of knowledge, ain't the school supposed to build upon what that child know? Here, all of a sudden, you got to pay attention when you have kids' parents. It's not easy. The road is rocky. The hill is steep, but you got to understand. It's your child. Nobody child. It's yours. So his grade, he had principal award, he had honor roll. All in, I think he had 4 quarters, right? So the three first quarters, he in the first quarter he had honor roll. That means he get a 4.0 perfect grade when he just got there. That means his knowledge was good when he just got there. Just pay attention. You see what I'm saying? Your kids' knowledge. All of a sudden that knowledge start decline. He do everything. He do his homework. He come home. If they say he need to do this, he do everything ahead of time. Everything keep declining. So when they have the next quarter, the second quarter, we go to the if they give certificate or something. He made only the honor roll, and I say, okay, still an honor roll. He didn't make the principal award. I say, okay, this is the second quarter now. The first quarter when he go there with fresh brain and everything good. Second quarter his brain run out to only honor roll. Okay, good, that's fine. That's still acceptable. Third quarter, he made honor roll again. He didn't make the principal award again. That's fine, that's good. The fourth quarter, which when they're graduating now to go on to grade one. Okay, he was in kindergarten going on to grade one now. So the fourth quarter is graduation now. He start have issues. And you know what I used to notice, guys? After every award function they have, by the following day I get complaint about my son. I swear to God, I ain't bullshitting. Every award function that they have and my son did good or so, after that they have peer issues with him. You send him to school the next day, a peer problem. You're either getting phone call or when you pick him up he's in the hand like a taxi driver waiting to cross the road with you. Guys, I like to see the picture, right? And I couldn't see the picture of why. Every day I sent him to school, his name was in hot mess. Hot mess. Yes, they were hating on him. I don't know for whatever the reason is. But he was in hot mess. They shut him down from talking because the teacher said, I'm teaching the class and he tried to take over the class. You should be good. And that's why I respect one of my teacher when she died in 2013. And before I remember while I was in all age school. Anybody know St. Paul all age school in Manchester, Jamaica? That side. That's the all age school. Go back over there. Both of you. Go. What? And everything. Mom, what? Go. You go. And sorry about that, family. You said he was doing good and getting reward. Yes? Yes, he was. And so before the fourth quarter now, is looking for graduation time or everything. They called me. They were going on a trip before the graduation. They called me and said, you need to sign this form also because you're going to have to go with your son to something. At this time, I'm like, why do I need to go with my son? I said, is he that of a bad person? I said, what crime have he committed? I'm literally serious. I said, what crime have he committed? I was talking to one of the, I think the dean or somebody there, one of the person you can talk to. I said, what crime have my son committed? Why do I have to go on a trip with him? And they said, just to make sure he's in line and all these things and all that. I said, okay, all right. So we went. It was to the zoo. We went to the zoo. Everything was good. Everything was nice. You know, he was just being his typical self. You know how boys are. But and that's the problem. Boys are not gonna be like girls. So they need to start finding techniques and strategies to deal with these boys. Don't just label them. It's like shove them in the street, and then when you shove them in the street, you have all these suspension against them, all these things that gonna affect their life later on when they grow older. I don't play that game. And every day he get in trouble. I remember I used to work midnight and I come home and I'm sleeping, and when I get up and wake up, I see Miss call and I call back the school. Oh, your son is in the hallway. You gotta come and get him. I say, okay, I'm on my way. I go pick my son up because that was one of the things. We say if he act up or so, just call me and I come and pick him up. Fell asleep because I was tired. You know, some nights when you work midnight, you work harder than some nights, and some nights you don't. Some nights it's just an easy flow, so you don't take much on your body. You know what I mean? So anyway, I went pick him up and everything. Then they give him a letter to say he can't come back to school until I think the next week or two. He get 2 days suspension. Yeah. Then after that he went back to school. Shoot, I'm wondering if this is a roller coaster now. So anyway, after that they suspend him again for a whole week. He can't come back to school till graduation week, with him the week before graduation. So all right, no problem. Send him back within that week. I get a call. They say Monday he go to school, go back to school. He get in trouble again. I don't know what the trouble was, because it's like what they say. I say I would love to see this camera. They say camera ain't lie. They even telling me how my son is cussing in school. My son, not even cuss at home. But you can't swear for kids. That's the other thing. You can't pick up for kids because they're around peers. And you got to remember, we learn about peer pressure growing up. So don't think that because your son may not cuss around you, doesn't mean they're not cussing out there because they're around people. They're around other children. You know what I mean? And everything, but he get in trouble every second. So at this time now, I remember I took him to his oldest school that he was going to, which is his daycare, because they have him there since he was almost 2 years old. I enrolled him into school at the time. Yes, and I took him there to let the teacher them talk to him to see if it was something I was doing that he don't want to open up to me or so. So yes, you find resources, family. When you see your children not opening up to you or anything, you don't know if it's because of what the pressure that is coming down on you and you being lashing out at them or so, and you not getting the response you need from them. If they had a good teacher when they were going to a different school, have a good relationship with the kids teachers so that you could take them there and see if they can find out what's going on. And because I had expressed my disgruntledness to the teacher, and he said all right, and they said they're willing to do that for me, so I took him there, and he was able to tell the teacher that is the other kid hit him, but nobody had saw when that kid hit him. And that's the problem. A lot of people will create trouble and nobody see when they create the trouble, but when you lash out, you just remember who get in trouble. Even right now, if there is an escalation of something, the person who is more aggressive is the one getting in trouble, and it's not always the case that that person is the troublemaker. That person just lash out because they in distress and don't know how, because they probably overwhelmed with things, they tired of it, but you're being labeled at this point. Jaden, you still have your reading to do. Get up and go get your reading done. Today is the last day for that three virgin. So anyway, I didn't want to send him to his graduation because my mom was here, and my mom used to say, "Why every minute?" And I tell you, it was a school I like, family, peaceful, quiet. Seemed like everybody have things under control and everything. And but when the disaster started arising, it's like, so anyway, I had ordered his suit off of Amazon, order my suit, order my dress, order my little son's shirt, suit, order my mom's suit so we can dress so we all can go to graduation. We were looking forward for the graduation. We were so excited. When we mean excited, we went to the graduation, but did we went happy? No. How did I go to the graduation? 'Cause at this point now, I had no limbs in me to go nowhere. I mean go nowhere to take him to graduation. Let him just walk down the aisle for the last time. So I spoke with my little son teacher at the time. She used to say, if you're in distress or you need anything, reach out to me and we can talk, right? Yes, you're always good to have somebody outside of you, because when problem come and it's just you alone, not good. So I talked with her, and I said, I asked her one question. I said, do you think I should let my son go to graduation? He said, right, I am sure you were excited. Yes, every parent's dream is to see their kids walk down any kind of aisle, in the right way, not the wrong way. You want to see them walk down the wrong aisle, but expected, unexpected. So anyway, I talked with the teacher. I was in my car bawling, my eyes bawled out. I was crying. When I say crying, at this point, I was crying. I was sobbing. I don't like to cry because when I have to cry, real cry, not just a little teary eye cry, but if I have to cry, I get so I don't want to get there, you know what I mean? So anyway, she said, you know what, just take him to his graduation. At least he can get his school leaving certificate and something. So I took him to the graduation. They were giving out award now. Mind you, this boy went from in semesters. The first one he get principal award and honor roll. The second one he get honor roll, and the third one he get honor roll. It's when he was graduating. You know what they give to him? A certificate. So how can a child go from being a good academic student to the drop down bomb like that? When you put children under pressure, that's what happened. Because I used every day when I pick him up, our son, they telling me about the bad thing. They said, then how is his academic? His academic was good. Mind you, his academic was good. He come home, he don't lag behind with his homework. As soon as he get it, he can tell you as soon as he get it, we do it right there and then and send it right back to school, because then when he get homework, his homework, come let me do it for you. His homework would have due he get one day in between, and then he would have due the Friday. So he get the homework the Wednesday, then he would have Thursday to figure it out, and then Friday is the due date. By the next day, Thursday, his homework is going back to school, because he come home with it Wednesday, and his homework going back to school the next day. Because as parents, I had something to do. I was working and doing all this work midnight. You don't got no time to sit down and procrastinate about nothing. Get it out the way. Get it out the way quick and fast. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. Went to graduation. I just sit at the back of the building, and I could not wait for graduation to over. I could not wait. I'm saying, wow. So when I asked about my son academic, it was good. But then he graduated with a certificate the fourth semester. What was going on? When we stress children out, they don't perform the way they're supposed to. Because we route the negativity in their head. And at this point, they probably feel like they can't do nothing. I'm no good. It used to stress me out. Yeah, it was very disappointing. Your children go from fourth, all listen, you 3 quarters, and he did good in them, and then the last little quarter was not much, and he declined that bad. You don't tell me that it was declining, because when you asked about his academic, it was good. And if you say anything to me, I straighten him out. I remember every morning when I drop him off to school, I used to hug him up and whisper to him, and I say, Jaden, Mommy got to work. Please, don't go to school and give trouble. Stay away from people, children. Please. Shit. Wrong approach. So, I take him out of school. But before I take him out of school, I remember I drove all the way on the east side. I can't even remember where I drove to. But I drove all the way on the east side, because at this point, I used to go to these food pantries. There was this food pantry I used to go to, but the line gets so long I couldn't bother with that one. So, but the day that I went there, there was somebody there that was giving out some flyers, and one of the flyers that they happened to give me was about homeschool. Ooh, now it feel like Christmas to me. And I think the first time they gave me the flyer was, I think, before he started going to that school. And I was saying, homeschool, I don't know about that yet, because as a single mama, If I put him in homeschool, how would I pay my bills? You start to think, what would be the advantage and the disadvantage of me keeping him home? You got to look, because you got to know your budget, your plan. You got to look at everything that's going to affect you, whether good or bad, when you have to make the decision to put your child in homeschool. So anyway, he was giving, when I keep getting all the complaint now, I talked to a lady friend of mine, and she said her son homeschool her. She said her son homeschooled her two boys, and one of her boys had a same situation at school where they were picking on him. Not in the area I am in, was in a different place. They said his son was this and his son was that, but they didn't have anything factual about it. So it like they were picking on the little boy. So they had to make the decision to take him out of school and homeschool him. So the lady was saying to me, I can only share with you what my son did and everything. I'm not telling you what to do. You're the mother. I only can suggest. And I said, oh, thank you. So that give me a little hope, right? That give me a little hope. So after that now, I I start to think about it, call the homeschool, talk to them and stuff like that. And then still thinking about it. And the time when I wanted to take the child out of school, I didn't take the child out of school. Because at this time, I was too scared to say, would I be on the street if I take him out of school to put him in homeschool? Would I be on the street? How would I manage to pay my bills? Because once you don't own a home, it's a struggle. You know what I mean? Because you're paying rent, you have a car, you're paying the bills and all these things. So it's not just one factor that's going to be affected, it's several factors, you know and I think about it. But when they give him the second suspension letter, I say I said I can't keep let this happen, because if we know, we know. You see how many things young people do on the news, and they come on the news. Where did they go back to get the information about that person? Right back to their school, correct? So when things like that are happening, don't sit comfortable parents and say, "Oh, it's just a suspension." No, it's not. Anything that you get a letter, your children get sent home with a letter. No, it's not. Just so you know, we have to open our big brains and tell ourselves, no, it's not. Because if later on something should happen to them, that is against their file. Whether you like it or not, it is written. You get a letter, right? That means it's documented. It's against them. And all it takes for them to do something bad for all that to come back at them. The negative connotation that people plant at their feet early. Just relax them. Go relax. Or go wash your face. Go wash your eyes. Go. Go wash your eyes. He was on the computer, he said his eyes hurt. Go wash them. Wash them with some cold water. You know what I mean? So it's tough. It's tough. And I said I can't do that. I cannot do that. Yes, I want him to be in school, because it's a real challenge for me with balancing, to make sure I can get the this and pay this. And then I used to have this lady that used to keep him, and he kept saying, oh, Jaden not listening, oh, Jaden not that. So anyway, so what I did was I took him to the doctor. Because as a mama, you have to do so many things. It's not just take him out of school, okay? So what I did was, he said, you did what? You had to do what? So I took him to the doctor. I take him to the doctor. So I book an appointment with their pediatrician. Take both of them to the doctor, because that's what I do when I'm killing Stony. Take both of the kids to the doctor. Had a discussion and let the doctor know what was going on, how it is affecting me, how it is affecting him, and all these things. And then the doctor signed him up for therapy and everything, and stuff like that. So he give me a referral, and I called the number, and right there and then I book him for therapy. And then he recommended me to go to another place. What was this place called? It was within the same building too, but in the bottom floor. And I went there to see the lady, to talk to her about my son, to see if he had any disability going on or whatever at the time. or if something was wrong with his brain or he couldn't hear, because when he was younger, he came home from school one day, not the high school, not the school he was going to, the last school, but he came home from the daycare center one day with an object in his ears. Yes. And I was wondering why he kept knocking his ears. We say as parents we gotta be very vigilant with our kids, you know. I'm like a glue. I look around, you know, but you can't look and see everything. But when you see they do one thing more than often with a particular part of them, pay attention to it. Okay, it's a sign that something is wrong and they're crying out loud. Don't ignore the signs. All right, you know, it will make you starstruck at the center. But anyway, let me get to it. So he had an object in his ear, so I had to get that out. So when they tried to get it out naturally, when I took him to the emergency room, they couldn't get it out because it was far gone in, because I didn't know what was there. And I always remember, why is he going in the bathroom? And he was taking the cuticle tip, trying to put it in his ear. And I said, what's wrong with your ears? Your ears itching you or something? I said, let me look. Guys, I take my hand, and you know how you broaden the ear so you could see more in there. And when I look in there, I said, what is that shine thing in your ears? Mind you now, we had just bought some food to eat. At this time, what did we buy to eat? I don't even remember, but we had just bought some food to eat. Oh, I think I put some kind of Chinese. So we were going to enjoy our meal. Guys, I did not enjoy that meal. I had to rush him to the emergency room. When we got to the emergency room, the doctors were trying to do the method where they do the suction thing and everything. He was crying. It's painful. That poor boy was crying so bad. Guys, I'm crying inside. And you know, when you want to hold back the cry, you have to press down or so to just not letting see you in the distress. And then I had the little one with me and stuff, and they couldn't get it out. So because they said if they can't get it out using this way, they're gonna have to give him anesthesia, so he put him to sleep or so he could get it out. So at this point they couldn't get it out. So we have to schedule another meeting, another week. We have to wait at home another week because the anesthesia department was booked. So we had to schedule another meeting for him go do the anesthesia, so they could get the object out before it damages eardrum or anything, so he could become deaf or anything. So I took him there and get that out. The doctor came back after they'd done the procedure, and it was a male doctor, and he said, what did he put in his ear? I said, I had no clue. It was at school. It wasn't at home. When he came home right away, I saw it because I kept seeing him with his hand, and then he kept asking for cuticle tip and going in the bathroom. And that's when you see, when your kids do certain things after a while, guys, follow them. Follow them around. Don't let them really know that you're paying attention that much, okay? Then you don't want they try to act like nothing is wrong. And I kept asking, what is wrong? Nothing is wrong. I couldn't sit still. My instinct was tripping. I said, something is wrong with your son. So anyway, why I'm saying this to say that, so when he started go to this school that I was talking to you about, I said to them, when he started to give trouble, I said something had gone into his ear. So I don't know if that's the reason why he probably can't hear you or something when you talk. I don't know. So I get him to go get what they call his ears checked again, to make sure there's no sign of him being deaf. Yes, aim sweetie, yes. To make sure he's not deaf. Because if a child is going deaf or so, when you talk to them, they might not hear you. Maybe you have to yell at them for them to understand that you're trying to get their attention. So I took him to the audiology department. I had to book an appointment. Took him there to make sure nothing is wrong when they say he giving trouble at the school. These are the steps I take. And when he go there, they say he perfectly fine. He probably just hyper, and probably the work they're giving him, they need to give him probably something more that is challenging or so to him, because probably he had learned this stuff before. And you know, some kids, when you learn this stuff before, or you're teaching them at home or wherever, or you have extra help for them, when they go to school and getting the same thing, they can be bored, you know, because nothing is challenging them. Anyway, so I took back the letter to the school. Everything was fine with him, and so that's part I did. When he started act up, they said nobody referred me to nowhere. I had to say, do you guys know anywhere I could take my son to see what's going on? So this is when they suspend him. No, he can't come back to school. they gave me something. From it start happening, they're supposed to recommend you to places to get therapy or seek help for your child. Yes, the school supposed to. They never did that in the beginning when things are going on. They never did that. So anyway, in the latter part, they give me some list of places I could check because I had to ask for it. And I check it out and I say, oh, I was just going to give it to you. No, you suspected him before. Why you didn't give it to me? You didn't. But anyway, you said you did good. You were taking all these steps. Yes, because as parents, you can go to jail for your children once they're young in your care because one, they need help and you didn't give them the help. You know, they need the help and you didn't give them the help, and that can be on you. As long as the school complain about your children or anything, or they even if they didn't suspend them or anything, and they complain about your child one too many times, please go out there and get the necessary checks for your children, because by the end of the day, you live in America and you go to jail quick. You don't want to spend 15 years behind no bars when you could have just taken the necessary step to check out and see what's going on with your children. And if you have to take them away from school for that day, take them home with you. Don't leave them there when they say something start happening. Take them home with you. Sometimes you have to make sacrifice. God will make a way. You hear me? Make the sacrifice you need to make. You don't want to spend 15 years in jail. So dot all your I's and cross your T correctly. So anyway, so after that, they give me some places, and then I took him to one of these in therapy session. I forgot the name of the place that I had taken to, and they do some games with him. They ask him a bunch of questions and see what he was going through or so forth. And I was telling the express the lady, talking to the lady about this stuff that I was going through and how it affected me and him, because I'm getting mad at him now. As parents, you're gonna be harsh at the kid at this point. Or so. And then she herself was a teacher. And she said she get out the school system and become something else. I think she studied something in mental health with kids or so. And she said her grandson was in this particular school, and her daughter husband was working, so she is one of the contact person in case if they can reach the mother or the father because they're busy at work. So when she said at one point when they call and she answered the phone, they say, oh, can I speak with the mother? I say, I'm the grandmother. You could relate anything to me that you have to relate to my daughter because she at work, her husband is at work as well. They didn't want to relate it to. She said she go by that school and she had to let that teacher know. Because she said sometimes the kids are there and they're just doing simple little thing and they just blow it out of proportion. And she was a teacher in the school. Now she is a counselor now. Yeah. So a lot of stuff, but it's good parents to do. Make sure you do the necessary checks you need to do with your children, even if it's not nothing. But you take this step to make sure somebody will help guide you along the way and try to help to see what's wrong with you or so. Somebody who can motivate you, encourage you, support you if you need support. They counsel you to be better, help you to stay on the right track. That's my simplest definition. So don't be afraid, family. It's not easy, but I can tell you, if you have a child and they keep getting suspended from school, don't take it as, oh, my son is so bad, my daughter is so this. It's not cute. Because if something should ever happen later on, that will be used against them. Okay? Pay attention. Ain't no fool. You watch news, or even if you don't watch the news, trust me, might want to start watch some of these things what you see going on. Because it can be used against you. Because that's how this world was built, to profile people, to chastise them. Not to help them, but to chastise them. And it's easy to write something negative against somebody's name than write something good. It's quick to say, oh, let me get the pen and paper and write up this and write up that. Because that's the solution, to push the kid down the drain. And then you as parents don't know what to do. Don't say because you don't have the education, because that have nothing to do with the resources that are out there. You take him to the pediatrician if you don't have no knowledge of nothing. Talk to their pediatrician, the pediatricians that you're going to talk to them about. They ask them if they can refer you to anywhere. Do they know anywhere? Sometimes, if they are good pediatricians like mine, they will literally research information for you, print it out for you, and give it to you so you can take it to the next places. And sometimes they don't know much about certain areas, but they say, you know what, we could do some digging for you. So talk. And even if you had a school that your son used to go to, or daughter, and they left that school because they had to transition over, and you have a good teacher there, and you had a teacher number or so, communicate with that teacher and see if they have any resources, because sometimes somebody knows something. Sometimes somebody have a link to something can refer you to, or can connect you to. They might not be able to help you 100%, but they can make some suggestions, they can make some reference, or they can help dig deep for you. You have some good teachers out there, and you have some good people out there. Not just teaching, but you have some good people out there that will help make reference and find solution for you, instead of just write up the negative. Because it's easy to put pen and paper together. I can deal with this. Boom. Da 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 da. This child is da 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 da. Okay, let the mother deal with it because it's coming from home. No, it's not. And as an educator, we should know that some of the things are not coming from home, because we learn about the factors that can affect a child growth and development: the environment, the community, the school, the church, the peer pressure, the this, the that, da da da. So when we quick to just write the negative, what solution have we come up with? Just the negative? Suspend the child? How about take him, make reference first thing? Let me see if we could refer the parents, even though some parents don't need it, but some parents get mad. Why my child need to go see a psychologist? Stop, get out of that. Because you're helping your child. At least you know that nothing wrong with them. Let them go get the help they need. I have my son right now, he in therapy, and they asked him the other day. I was sitting there because he can talk, so I just sit back, and they asked him, have you ever have any point in your life where you felt like you want to hurt yourself? Mind you, know you don't know what's gonna come for your children when they're in therapy sessions. You okay? So I stood there. I said, by the way, you're right here. I'm not answering that for you because I don't know I don't know how you think. I'm a mother, but that doesn't mean I have your brain. You see what I'm saying? You big enough answer. And he told him no. And they said, you sure you have, I'm trying to make sure. I said, you sure you have nothing going on? And he said, no, mama. Gotta ask. You know, the days of we just labeling the child as being bad, they do get on our nerves. Don't get me wrong. They do get on your nerve. But the days of you just labeling the child because somebody say your child is bad, that's an approach you don't want to fall for. Because it's stressful. I can tell you. It's stressful. It's one that will have you crying for days. It's one that will have you thinking, what am I going to do? And even though I take that leap of faith to take him out of school, it's not easy because I got bills. Things need to be done. Can't get done really the way I want to, but it was the only necessary route for me. And then every time I watch the news and see a school come on the news and said, this person touched people, children inappropriate, like one of those big people that should know better. Also, I say, thank God I take him out of there. And then another part of me saying, you're gonna keep struggling, or you're gonna try to find a way out. You know what I mean? So many things, and even if you're not a single parent, because it don't really have nothing to do with single parent, you could be a two household family and still getting the same you could still be a two household family and still getting the same result. You know what I mean? So don't be mad. You could still be a two household family and still getting the same result. So please don't think you have to be a single parent home to just go through the rubble. You're gonna go through it too, because then maybe one of you would have to take off from work to stay home with the kids. So now, instead of you having $2,000 extra coming in, now you're only gonna have $1,000 extra coming in, because now it's only one person working. You see what I mean? So now it's gonna become harder on one person, but also save your children big time. because now you had to take this step to intervene to make sure that the life you want to give your children is not a life that people just written them up early. And he was only 5 at the time. And if you can written up a child in a negative light at 5 years old, I asked him one time at this way, I said, I would love to know what crime my son had commit. You know, what crime? Because it got to be a crime for them to just suspend the child every second for the simple talking or the simple playing. Boys are not going to be like girls, and we need to get it correct. Boys have a little bit more not a little, boys have testosterone in them. Girls don't got that. Their adrenaline gland or so is going to be more hyper. So when we just tie everybody in one, girl and boy in one, what solution are we coming up with? You know, I was listening to Tamron Hall showcasing her book, promoting her book and couple shows the other day. And she said that the way society perceive our boys when they're little is like they're like girls and they're not like girls. Boys are totally different from girls. And until somebody come out and realize that we're doing more harms to the boys than they need to, and I wake up and say boys and girls don't learn the same way, the solution to life is not going to be written up a child in a negative way. They're already negative to themselves. It's crazy. But you pay attention, family. You pay attention when you have your child coming home from school, and or you kept getting phone calls, you kept getting this. Stand up and start to take the necessary step to make sure your child is right. You know, it's right because you gotta think of you. You gotta think of you to say that. Listen, I only can think of what is right for my children. You can't think of what people say about your children. You know, you gotta think of what is right about you, what is going to be beneficial to you. You know what I mean? You have to think about that. Nobody can think for you. And if you have children out there, I can tell you never give up on for your children, because that's what the world wants. When you give up on for your kids so they can ruin his life, ruin her life, and then next thing you know, you left picking up the pieces. It's like a storm. Cut that out. You know, it's gonna be a storm in your life, because then you're gonna be so stressed out. And that's why you see a lot of parents are so mad right now with their kids, because we thought they were raised in hell, and then some of us don't do nothing. Our kids going through the storm, we don't seek no help for them, we don't care. I get these children, make sure they always going to the doctor, get their checkup, go to the dentist, get their well check and all these things, you know, so that you can be in the loop with your children, you know. So that means if something going on, because after he's in TERP, you know, that's when I found out he have ADHD. He can sit still. So that's how come we discover he have ADHD, and they ask if I want to give him medication. I say no. I say no. Because once I give my son what he likes in terms of, like, he like building stuff, Legos and all these things that keep him calm. You know what I mean? He likes to jump up and down. The only difference is I live in an apartment, so I said I gotta get me a house where he can be more better. You know what I mean? Because you know your children growing up, and even though they're at a young age, and you will say, "Oh, nothing wrong with them." You don't know what's wrong with your kids, because you know every phase we go through in life, you're not gonna know what's wrong with them. You know, it's a learning with you. Because some kids born natural, and then in the end they have broken bone, fragile bone, all kind of something. They can't walk no more. They have to be in wheelchair. They didn't born like that. They were running up and down like normal kids until something take them in the middle of something. You know, I had a lady share with me once that she had a son, and the son didn't born the way like that. He was going to school, and all of a sudden one day he came home. I think I forgot how old the child was at the time. And then all of a sudden he just became crippled, can't do nothing more. He had to be wheelchair bound. So you don't know what's gonna happen to the children that we have here with us. You don't know. They might knock their head, and you don't take it for nothing, and then later on it affect them. You know, so get those checked. You know, get those things checked to make sure nothing going on. You know, every little thing, even if you go to school, pick your child up and they said that your child rude at school or so, talk to your pediatrician, book an appointment, you know, let the pediatrician talk to them and see what they can, you know, because sometimes your kids might not say nothing to you, but the pediatrician or somebody who they confide in can, you know, help them out. And then that way you can get breathe a sigh of relief for your child, you know what I mean? But as parents, don't sit comfortable with your kids, because nothing gonna save you when your kids derail. Nothing. Your money ain't gonna save you. Your house ain't gonna save you. Nothing you got that you own ain't gonna save you when your child derail. Yeah, okay? But early intervention in anything is gonna help them. And when I say early intervention, even if teachers say, I think your son is a little off or your daughter is a little off, it's not for you to say go off. It's for you to go check. Because that means you love your children. You care to the point where you got to go check. Right now, after I take him from those time when he was acting up or so, and I had to take him out of school, now they have him, they wanted to see him back 6 months time back. So at this point now, I'm gonna take him back on Monday. They're going back to the doctor. So even though the little one going to school early Monday, I'm gonna have to pick him up early from school to take both of them to the doctor because they wanted to see them back to make sure everything is good with them also. You know what I mean? They wanted to do their check, and plus I have, you know, the schools now they have to get their physical to make sure they're still good, nothing wrong with them also. So be that parents that sometimes if you have to take off from your job to do what you have to do, as long as you have a good boss and they understand, you know, so shout out to the good old boss them out there that understand the rubble. You have to shout them out, you know what I mean? And shout out to the people out there that understand. As a parent, you gotta do what you gotta do. And if your children are being bad at school and you get a complaint, just take them home. Take them home for the day. What I used to do when I take him home, I didn't come straight home. Most of the time, I go straight to the park so he could just release whatever stress he was going through. You know, because sometimes kids go through stuff and they don't tell you. You know, and as parents, we just say, oh, I'm the mother, I'm the father, we should know. No, you ain't gonna know everything. You ain't gonna know everything. And some things will be right in your face and it blocked. You ain't gonna know everything. So I used to take them to the park a lot before the car started give more problem. You take them to the park, take them have some, what we do, we order food, take them to the park and let them ride it out. My car is always having some form of toys in there. So you take them to the park, let them ride and, you know, whatever you need to do with them, walk around the park with them or so. Let them get out there and get some fresh air, yeah, basketball, tell them some basketball. For the girls, you can whatever toys they like or so. And you just let them walk. Even if you're not walking like they want to go climb here, let them go. You know, you take them to the park, let them be themselves. And then at this time, you are analyzing them, you're assessing them, you're watching their demeanor, you're looking at how they're interacting with the toys around them. And this time, the toys could be the stuff that is already at the park. You know, like the slides, this, how aggressive they are, how they treat each other around them when they're at the park, if other children are there. Then you just start looking to so many things as a parent to see, do you need to shape up on anything, do you need to, and give them good job when they go and they tell you they feel good. Give them good job, you know, give them a big hug, let them feel that they're still here. You are my child, you gotta, you know, because when they do something bad and you gotta work, so we always, oh, we gotta work, we gotta pay the bill. You know, we can also give them the good part too, you know. So take them to the park when you're having meltdown and so on, just let they get the fresh air. And you getting fresh air too. You're getting the chance to clear your head too. And if you don't have a park near you, just go sit down somewhere on the outside where it is safe or so forth. Just you and your kids and you have a little picnic. You know, I used to sit in my parking lot there and just buy the food, open my car door and sit around to the other side and just sit down and enjoy something with him. And he said, "Mom, we should have more picnic like that." And we had chairs in the cars. So if they need to sit down, I get those family dollar little chairs. I have two of them in the car. So if they need to sit down outside, they can sit out there, you know, and enjoy what they need to enjoy. And they love that. Because as parents, we worked. Sometimes we don't even get the time to spend much time with our children, but when we can, do the best thing you can, because the world will write them up quick and fast, and then we are gonna left with the stress. Okay, no matter when, how old or anything, we will left with the stress. You know, and even as teachers, if we have good intention for our children, talk to our children. Sometimes we get them one away, and let them know it's not just always, oh, you're a bad kid, I can't deal with you. Because how about sometimes your temper and the child temper at that day, you don't know what that teacher going through within that day too, and then that child does, oop, then no, it become a big problem. Because problem plus problem. You know what I mean? And that's how some things arise in life. If you have to think deeper into it, that's how some things arise in life. You having a meltdown, the child acting up, you can't tolerate it, and then all of a sudden, it's a written up for the child. I used to teach, my first school I used to teach into, there was this little child there, I won't call her name, and she used to act up and everything. And I had a very good principal there, and we used to, she always tell me, if you need your job, you can always come back, you know, because I had to take a break away and everything. Because I had just had my baby too, the little young one. There was a lot going on. So anyway, and there was a child there, and she used to act up and everything. Jump, hop, skip, whatever. And they used to say that we could call the parents if there is a meltdown or everything. And one day, the principal is a principal like this. She used to be open for suggestions, and that was very good. And I said, you know what, maybe we could just find something that she likes and see. And once she playing game time or anything, she was all in it. But the game that I used to play with them is maths game. Like when we play indoors, we play maths game with them. So we get strips of paper, different colorful paper, cut them into squares, write numbers on them. Okay, children need to identify numbers, write numbers on them, and they had some pom-poms, some pretty color pom-poms. So we would get those pom-poms, and what we'll do, put them into sets. Okay, teach children the sets of numbers. So, the number they have in their hand, once they know what that number is and how much that number should look like in the sets that we put, because they had one of those big mats that have different okay, tell him to leave you alone. I said tell him to leave you alone. He go there to lick Jaden. So we okay, just sit down then. Don't pay him no mind. If he run away, that's good. So we put they have a big rug there with shapes and stuff. So we would put like 3 in here, 5, 6 or so, and whatever number. What we did was turn the numbers over, so they couldn't see the number. They just have to go and pick up one of the strips of paper, and then when they look at it, they gotta tell me the number. And then once they tell you the number, then they gotta look at the math. So now they gotta do their assessment of the math to see. If they say 5, they gotta look at the math to see, walk around, look which one have 5 set, and anyone that have the 5 set, it's like a racing game. So you give 2 people at the chance, and they gotta go find it. And they go find, they used to love the game. Because they're teaching them numbers, they're teaching them the quality amount that comes with the number and all this. A lot of stuff we used to do, so that kids would love it. And they say, can we do it again? It was so fun. The way we did it, it was so fun. And then we had that assistant teacher there. She was so fun with it. She was all in on it and everything. So she was very helpful. She was very helpful with it. So we teach, when you're teaching children, we teach them things, and then when we go out on the playground, because I always make sure I go out every day to play with my kids. We're playing basketball, I'm running around with them, you name the kiddies stuff, I'm it. We're doing so much stuff while they're learning. Because sometimes they have to throw the ball like 5 times into the net and they gotta count them. You know, they gotta do so many things. So even though you're on the playground with them, they're still learning. It's how you make the learning fun for them to play around, and so it's gonna make them learn, you know. There's sometimes when my son in school and they teach him maths and he don't understand. And when I'm teaching it to him, he understand because I'm pulling out different stops. You know, in schools, you know, you only have a limited amount of time to go through so many things. So sometimes you're not able to go through all the stops quick and fast. But at home, you have that ability, you know. Sometimes you let them run and they got to pick up several colors and find the color blue and you got to pick up 7 of them or whatever number. You see what I'm saying? So even though they're playing race and it's a race, it's a competition or so forth, but they're still learning at the same time. They're learning how to pick up numbers. They're learning how to pick up this amount. And that number is 7 or so, you know what I mean? They learn so much from it. And then when you do recall with them or so on, see what they had learned and what they found, you know, you ask them questions to see what they had known, what they have learned, and if it's something that they like or so forth. It was fun, you know. But too many things are blown out of proportion nowadays. Because in my days growing up, I've never seen no. Even while I was in Jamaica and I was on teaching practice or anything, I've never seen no kids really get suspended from school. We probably had the parents come in and they talk, but where I was, I never see that. The teacher say, the principal there always say, you know what, let's try to see what we can do first. But some people, I don't have no time for that, I'm not getting paid for that. And then some environments are so toxic that your mind frame will be caught up. So that's the other challenge. But don't give up off your children. Do not give up off your children. They're going to get on your nerves just like how they get on people's nerves at school. Do not give up off them. Because that's the universe wants you to give up so they can land you in jail. Like the incident we had over here, where that little young boy, his parents was called to the school because they had seen a graffiti of him drawing a weapon and everything, and they called to the school. And the parents left him at school, didn't take him home. If you call to the school to talk about your children, just decide your mind to take your child home that day. Take them to the park, wherever or so, and have a, you know, just let them be. Sometimes the conversation you're going to have is just to let them be themselves. You know, just to let them be themselves. Don't be sitting on there and say, oh, but I got to work. Ask your boss that day when you get the call, can he give you the time off just for this day? You know, so you can get whatever you need. Set up an appointment with your pediatrician and all these things. You just book it out so you don't have to get fired from your job or anything. Because, you know, some jobs will fire you because you're doing the right thing for your children. And they need you. But some people don't care about you having children. You know. But do what you got to do. It's your children, your call. You know. Never gonna be easy, but just remember, the children you have in your life is yours, and they're gonna be yours forever. The pain, just remember the pain you take to bring them here. You're gonna feel some pain to raise them too. You ain't gonna have everything smooth. Because even the man that have everything together, he have pain too. You think those kids don't get on their nerves too? Why you think it's only people who don't have the wherewithal kids get on their nerves? No, no. You just don't see that because most time is nanny dealing with the kids. Most time is nanny taking care of the kids. So most time parents busy working. They don't get to see what nanny have to go through. They don't see the disrespect. They don't see none of that when kids start popping out the mouth sometimes. And sometimes the nanny don't say nothing because they understand the nature of children. Because most nanny have children. So they know. So you can't compare your life and say, oh, these people, they ain't got money, they're not going through it. You don't know. You only see the good part that they tell you. So don't be looking at somebody else's life and say, oh, this person got it good. Because they're an addict. Oh, please. You know, it don't work like that. You just have to navigate the best way you know how as a parent, you know. Take the child out of school for that day when they call upon, or if you can take them out of school for that day, you have somebody that is assigned that could bring the child to you. If you have some good boss, will, depending on where you work, that will tell you, just bring the child here for the day or so. Depending on if they're busy. If they're not busy, they might tell you, okay, you could take the day off and go take care of your children. You have bosses like that. You know what I mean? But don't be sitting down and see your children need help and you just follow everyone and dug your child in the dirt. You're gonna pay the price. Nobody else. The only price, only dirt they dig for you is to put them down in there. And if you cover it up, that means you're helping them cover up the dirt. No, you can't do that. A lot of people that you see falter by the wayside now. If you should see what they go through in life, you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked. You'll be very shocked. A lot of people that is struggling right now, that go by the wayside. It's a lot of stuff they go through. And even we self as adults, we go through something that because the parents tell us, oh, we had to work. We didn't have this, we can't do it, we can't afford this or so. And that's why sometimes we don't reach nowhere in life. Because it's like they tell you, just go to school and behave yourself. It's like what I was telling my son in the beginning, please, that mommy gotta work. But then after that, it kept getting more and more and more and more. And as I said, even if you are not living in a single household, sometimes you're living in a two-family household and both of you gotta work. And when you see things are happening, sometimes one of you gonna have to take a shift. Even if you, before you take the shift, if it's a rent place you're paying or so, if you have to downsize to find somewhere better so that you can have $2 when one of you have to stay back to take care of the children, what you gotta do? Because by the end of the day, those kids can grow up and tell you that when things was getting out of hand, you didn't care. So you sacrifice are making right now. Sometimes it's only God He knows. It's only God He knows. And it's not like things are not out there for you. It's out there. But He want to see what we're going to do. Are we going to keep just telling our kids, just go to school and behave. God will see us through. Yeah, He going to see us through, but we need to take a step. We need to start do something. Not just say God will see you through. He already seen us through. But we need to do our part. You know. Sometimes we're gonna have to downsize to make things better. Sometimes you're gonna have to live someplace where it's not even up to par with a lot of stuff that is happening around you. But sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do for the sake of your children. Because they're young, they're in your care, you're the one gonna pay the price until they're gone out your sight. So might as well prepare yourself. Gotta prepare ourselves, family. Some people say why people have children. That's not a question you should be asking. Because when you open your mouth and say, why do people have children? You should be asking yourself, why did your mama have you? You know what I mean? You have to ask yourself that. If you're worried about why somebody have children, ask yourself, why did your mama have you? Because if your mama didn't have you, you don't have the mouthpiece. You got to ask somebody else that. You see what I'm saying? So we got to pay attention. He give us children. And the Lord will give his strongest soldiers the things that he know we can tolerate. It just some point in our life he give him some people break and do harm. But we still gotta fight. So now my son is back in homeschool, his grade is back up. See, yesterday I get a call. I got him tutoring while he was here, when he was going to that school. I think I had said something about tutoring, but I don't remember what they were saying, like they were down. But anyway, so when I get into here and I realized he could get tutoring or so, I signed him up for tutoring. So I signed him up for tutoring. If there was homeschooling, he said, why would you homeschool and tutor? Of course, you need a break too. So you sign him up for tutoring because I have to help him with his homework. And I don't do his homework for him. I sit there with him so he can understand. Okay? And he's not just sit there and don't get mad. I do get mad too. Okay? But I get him tutoring, and so they called me yesterday and said since he's reading now and everything, when I mean read now, he can master some things better on his own now than before. Now he's able to. They're gonna downsize his class to 1 day a week. So she wanted to know which days of the week that would be for me because he have therapy on Thursdays. I think it's twice a month he have therapy or so. I think so. So he has therapy. So the therapy told me the other day because I told him that I gotta take him to the doctor. So he says in his report, because therapy, everything connect back to the children. Pediatrician, yes. Once you have therapy with your kids, everything links. So they can see it in the system to say he going therapy and all these things. You know what I mean? So get the extra help you need for your children because you never know family. You're busy, you're working class parents, sometimes the challenge is tough, but you get the help that you need for your children, okay? Get the help you need. Sometimes they annoying and they on your last breath, but still get the help you need for your children because the only person who can restore our children is us and the Lord, yeah? And it's the help that He's gonna put along the way for us. It's like you do treasure hunt and you hunt for stuff. Don't you see those steps you gotta follow? Same thing. Same thing with life. Some of them you're gonna say they don't make no sense. It don't make no sense to you because you're looking at the situation as an adult. But when you're looking at stuff, you're gonna look at it from a child's standpoint. If it were you in this situation, wouldn't you want your parents to help you? Wouldn't you want your parents to take the necessary steps so that you could be better? You know what I mean? So when you're looking at stuff and you say, this don't make no sense. It don't make no sense because as an adult, you are looking at it from your eye level. Look at it from your child level. When you were a kid, some things you go through, wouldn't you want your parents to do a follow-up to make sure what you're saying is true? Would you want to get the necessary check out? Your kids complain their head hurt because some children do lie about their head hurt. But at the same time, the only way to know that they were lying is to take them to the doctor. Because you're not a doctor. Take them to the doctor. Once they said this is not like when I thought it was his ears and I took him there and they said no, he don't have no hearing problem or anything. So now I know he just stubborn or something. You see what I'm saying? So now I could draw that conclusion. Before I couldn't just draw that conclusion because I know what had happened to him when he stopped that thing in his ear. So when you're looking at things and said some of these things don't make no sense because you're looking from it as an adult. Yes, baby. Yeah, it's over there beside the apple. So I'm up there and get it. You want to get it for him, Jay? The apple. One of the things you had just now. So don't be saying this don't make no sense. You're looking from an adult standpoint, family. So pay attention. When you're looking at stuff, just start to picture yourself back into your children when you were a kid. What? Oh, you want this? You want that? Sit there. So you start to look at things from your child and said, okay, if I was a child, what would I want my mama to do? And then you start to look back at the things you've been through, and you probably had said it to your mom, your dad, your uncle, whatever, and nobody didn't look at it as nothing. They just brush it off. You don't want to brush whatever your child is going. Hey, what's wrong with you? So why you don't get the intro over here? You want on here? You want your ensure? Oh, it's in the fridge. This boy is something else. Where? It's in here. Hold on. In it. So don't give up, family. Road to success is never easy. You have to go through it with your children, but you will get there. We will get there, family. I gotta go get me some milk. You don't realize that. Gotta go get me some milk. So don't be stressing yourself out, family. Just get the help you need for your children. I only can share what I've been through with my children, but the steps that I take to make them better, okay? And even if you're grandparents and you're raising the kids because the parents no longer here or there, still, it can be overwhelming at times, but at least you're making the necessary steps. Sometimes you have Zoom meeting, you can have them on the Zoom, you don't have to go directly in or so. So work with your pediatrician, work with your doctors, work with your counselor, see what is best for you. Because when they had given me Jaden that counselor, my car was giving problem. I couldn't go to the place that they need me to go to. It was outside of Detroit. I couldn't go. Especially every time he go have it, I wouldn't be able to go. You know, you want your car last. So what I did was they asked me if I would be comfortable doing Zoom with him. Yes. Because I had the issue with my car, you know. I would love to go in person because I don't mind getting the fresh air and my kids don't like mine either. We all like outdoors, you know what I mean? But sometimes when you look and see so many factors that can hinder you, if you can do Zoom, do Zoom. You know, you just have the camera on, have the kids sit right there, comfortable. You don't ain't gonna sit comfortable because you have ADHD, you know. But do the best you can. And sometimes you have, as grandparents, you have mothers out there and they themselves frustrated because they're still going through post-depression and everything. And if they're willing to give you the permission to get your grandbaby, took them to the doctor, make they book the appointment or you take them to the doctor, go ahead. You know, you just make sure everything is in place. So that means that you are going to be the one to take the kids to the doctor or so forth. You know, help out your daughter, help out your son. You never know. You know, when we work together as families to help, you know, yes, you're going to say, oh, but it's not me, give them the child. They're not going to do with you. Because when something happened, you're going to say, oh, but I told her this and she didn't do. Everybody trying to take themselves out of it. So how about put yourself in it when something is there to be taken care of and it could be easily avoided? Put yourself in it. You're a family. Don't be saying, oh, but it's not me. And, you know, we start pointing the fingers and trying to jump out of situation. And you were right there. Sometimes it's not easy, but you just got to step up. And we can't leave everything on school alone. We can't leave everything and just one person to do everything, you know. So we got to step up. Sometimes you complain, you know, it's not my child, it's not my this. That not nothing to do with you. That don't got nothing to do with you. You start worry about it's not my child, it's not my this. That don't have nothing to do with you. Do your part as a person, as a family, as a good friend. It's kind of hot. You know, you do your part. Ooh, this is hot. That's so hot, you know. Yes, family, so we're here cleaning up and just chit chatting a little bit. It just take me to this route, I don't know why. Or maybe a parents out there going through a situation like I was going through and maybe needed to hear it or so. Sometimes you'll take some part, not the part you really intended to take, but it just happened. You know? It just happened. It just happened. That's the life. I'm here. Oh, that what? I thought it was Jaden in the kitchen. I hear he said right here. I thought it was Jaden over there. Because all of us have the same mop looking kind of hairstyle right now, rocking it. Jaden, I thought it was you. So yes, family are cleaning up my hot mess here. Oh my father. I thought it was my son over there. So we're cleaning up family and just chit chatting here. So that not the route I intended to take, but you know, life sometimes maybe somebody out there going through something and they need to hear something. You never know what somebody needed to hear, or even if they don't need to hear, but they could know somebody going through something and could make some suggestion or make some reference. You know, gone were the days, you know, and bashing parents and bashing this. You don't know what people going through. You know, if you can't help, just close the door. Because it's not easy raising children, and anybody who have raised their children and get over that part now and they grow big and see what they come to, they already know the rocky road they've been through. They already know that it wasn't easy. They know. They know their term. They know what they've been through. They know the days when they felt like giving up. Everybody had that. They know. They know. They know the days when things was not going properly for them. They know. Trust me, they know. Let me push this thing. Yeah. Hold on. I don't want my phone wet up because if the screen crack again. After I spent $80 to fix this thing, crack again. You know, they know what they've been through. They all know what they've been through. Even celebrities with children. You think they don't know what they go through? I don't know why we think it's just us because we in a certain bracket or a certain situation. We think it's just us. Everybody that have children go through that. Go on. I just talk about the phone and look at the phone right on the ground. What's wrong with you all? Who? I don't know what's going on with this phone here. Okay, I guess it works. You know, we don't know what they go through, family, so we're just looking and saying, oh, because it's us, it probably us. Or we're looking and say, oh, because we don't have the wherewithal. Not because they have the wherewithal doesn't mean they don't go through the same. They don't go through stuff, of course. They does that. They probably have the different entitlement. Those children feel like they're entitled. You know, yours can be entitled because they don't have nothing to be entitled to. But you'll be surprised that they have their own entitlement too. You know. I don't want this wet my phone up. I don't even remember how I had this phone. You know what I mean? The kids keep eating out my yogurt. So, yes, family. So. As the songwriter said, we never give up. We never giving in, you know. But anyway, we ain't going to stay no longer, family. We ain't going to stay no longer. I just want to let you guys know that if you're out there and you're going through anything, you're doing anything. And this is not the route I wanted to take this morning, but we got to let the Lord lead and we follow, you know. But if you're out there and you're going through anything with your children, just seek help. You know, some people gonna have to take the expense out their pocket. Majority don't have to. Okay, especially in America. I can speak for America. All right. So whatever you need to do to get the help for your children, do it. Don't just sit down and label the child as what others label your child as, because then you're contributing to the problem. But finding the right help is the start. By start with your pediatrician if you don't know nowhere else. And when you go there, you voice your concerns. Some people we can just go and talk. Some people you might need to write your question down, which is your concerns. So when you go there, you can have the pediatrician. You could ask the pediatrician these questions, and then they can make reference if they can't help you. They can make suggestions and they can make recommendations and stuff like that, so that you can take the next step in bettering not just your child mental health but also your mental health, because now you will be at ease, you feel better. Okay, so take the necessary step, family, to make sure you are healthy, because health is wealth. And if you're not healthy, your child not healthy, then what you let society to do with them? Make them become unhealthy more. You understand? So until then, family, don't be naive, don't be foolish. Seek help when you have children and they acting up. And remember, if a school suspend your child or anything, seek help for them at the same time. And make sure you get them a letter when you take them to get the help. You get them a letter so you can take it back to the school as well. You know, because remember, when the school suspend them, that's a profile they're building against your children. So when time you go to the doctor with your children, you make sure they know that they went to the doctor within that same time frame if you can. Don't wait a week later. So within that same time frame, if you can get them in, the sooner the better when things happen. So those things are on record to say you take the necessary steps to help your child, whether it's a boy or a girl, it doesn't matter. You did your due diligence to seek the help your children need. Okay? Remember, you are not your child. You don't know what your child is going through. You're not them. You don't have their brain. So think outside the box. First thing, your pediatrician. Have community support. Have family support. If you don't got family support, find community groups. There are several community groups out there that are willing to help and all these things to get you on the right track. You just have to find the one. You might go through several and they say no, blah blah blah. Some of them will make reference so you can get the help for you and your children. Okay? You have to go through the rubber too, and those no's are not the doors are going to be open for you. All right? So the challenge of life is not easy. But don't just let people freely sign your children up and that will haunt them for the rest of their life. Because all it takes for that to come back in their face and go is for them to do something bad when they grow older. See, right now there is this young man that they said had damaged the life of some student, college student. Now they're trying to look, even though he was studying criminal justice, something in the justice system. Now they're gonna use one of his research paper to use it against him in court. Pay attention. Be no fool, people. Seek help when your children need it and document these things. Get them a letter so they can take back to the necessary school that they're going to, even if you can't withdraw them out school. And even if you can, you get them a letter so it can be on their file as well to say you do the necessary check to help your child. Okay? Because when you don't help them, you contributing to their problem. Until then, family, walk good. Have a blessed day. Thank you so much, Sweetie Juicy, and thanks to everyone who was in the background there in watching and everything. Appreciate you guys and take the necessary step. Early, better. Late, worse. And have a good day, family. Bye. You say bye? Okay.